morning, everyone, on this gorgeous day just after 12 noon. I hope you all are doing fabulous. I'm basking in the sun here. There it is, gorgeous. And just 3 days after Valentine's Day, there was the red rose. I'm here to talk about 11 signs of insincerity in friendships. So 11 signs of sincere friendships versus fake ones. And I brought a little stone with me, which should be quite significant. It's called a lapis lazuli. It's a dark blue stone with yellow and white streaks in it. It's very inexpensive, known from ancient days, especially for its power to ward off evil intentions, whatever. And it's a symbol of faithfulness and truthfulness. So I think it fits in perfectly with our topic today. So let's dive in. Number one, I'd like to speak of politeness. So we all know what it means, and most people, depending on how they were raised and where they are in society, whatever, I mean, there's a big definition. It's words, it's gestures, it's everything. But I think it's really is a huge sign of an integral person, like a person with integrity, who is what we want our friends to be. We assume that our friends are people of integrity, until at some point maybe our eyes open up, or even family members, and some point down the road we might get an awakening, and that's basically what we're talking about, because people of integrity are polite to everyone the same manner. They treat everyone with the same, with the same manners, with the same friendliness, the same courtesy, really, and honor and respect. And it's so important. You hear it in one word, you hear it in two words, in a phrase, in a movement, in a gesture. You see it. It's about somebody who comes down to your level to speak with you, if you're a child or whatever, or if it's somebody very tall looking down on a smaller person, you can tell if they really are, and and they can ameliorate it through words and through the tone of voice. All of these things play in. But I think the point is really that if someone you think is your friend, you're hoping is your friend, or you really want to believe is a loving family member, if they're constantly showing these obvious signs of rudeness, which could include just speaking over you, being loud, interrupting, just grabbing something in jest, forgetting to say please or thank you, and I'm putting that in quotation marks, because it happens. When it happens constantly, it's not excusable anymore, and it will save you a lot of, will save us a lot of, I think, disappointment if you kind of recognize these things for what they are, because we all see how they treat other people. Just watch the person in question, how they are around everyone else they know, and they know how to be very ingratiating, very endearing around someone that they think they can get something from, that they can, profit from. We see it at work. This goes for a manager at work too, a boss that, for example, treats a customer, speaks to them in a very different tone of voice, a very different way than he does to employees, or he or she, does to the employees, and that's again a sign of great insincerity, and the same with family. If a parent or whatever is constantly yelling around the kids, and as soon as company comes, they change their tune. Obviously, most, people know there's something up there. So it's very hard to recognize if you've been used to it, but it's actually a great eye opener. And even if you can't change anything about the relationship status at all, it helps just to actually know who your friends really are. Just the knowledge, the consciousness will give you more power over the situation. Okay, so point two, the interest that they show in you. Okay, so somebody who cares about you really should show that they're interested in you, and should prove that with questions and listening and remembering, because we do remember the things we care about. Um, and if you have a friend on the phone every other day for an hour or half hour or whatever, for years, and they never remember what you liked, your hobbies, your plans, and they're constantly going on and on and on for years about what they want to do. Oftentimes you'll excuse that, if you somehow you still appreciate this person, you'll excuse that by thinking, oh gee, well, they never got what they wanted, so I have to be patient. Well, let me tell you, they may just be talking about what they want for the next 30, 40, 50 years and still not being interested in you, because the point is they may just be interested in holding your attention, manipulating. I can't say, obviously. I don't know. I don't want to know, or I don't want to say, but I'm just putting it out there. Is this person, are they really sincere? Do they say what they want? If they're constantly talking what they want and never getting it, and not ever talking about anyone else's, interests, and do they really want that, or is what they want really the manipulation? Is it a power game with them? So that's something to think about. Number 3, insecurity. If you have contacts, you are in a relationship, and everything you say, you have to walk on eggshells, you have to flatter them all the time. You realize that at some point, if you stop flattering them, you say one thing on flattering to them, and immediately, oh boom, that's the end. You get some kind of a rude remark, or you get a pushback like, oh, you're being nasty, or if you want to be, or they'll say, you're offending me all of a sudden, and in reality, you've been putting up with a lot of the same kind of thing, and you've just given it back to them once, you've been putting up with constant kind of been talking down to things, being constant dismissiveness from their side, and when you let them see what they've done, what they're doing, when you give them, let's say, a dose of their own medicine, once, they notice it immediately. They go right off on that. So that's another big warning sign, that it's not an equal relationship. There's no sincerity there, really. It's unfortunately, not real friendship, that kind of thing. So, and number 4, I have here, do they have time for you? The time with you, is that sacred to them? Do they protect it in a way, or do they turn around and talk to everyone else while you should have their time, like the time with you together on the phone, for example? You can have someone on the phone who's walking down the street, that's fine, but they can walk down the street and be saying hello, and then even starting little conversations with everyone they meet down the street. And what does that mean? That means they're holding on to your phone call just as like a second option while they talk to everyone else, maybe even to show off the fact that they're now on the phone with someone else. Who knows, but you'll notice it if you have someone like that who's constantly, obviously once in a while you do see someone, you have to say hello, whatever, here and there, but you'll notice if somebody's, even handing out things to other people while they're on the phone with you. I've gotten that before. They'd be like handing it out to like every single person on a busy street corner, in the busiest city, so that's a big red flag. The time that you have with someone that you think you're friends with, that should be for the two of you in the same kind of in the same kind of way for each of you. Number 5, I have here contradicting. So if you find your friend or your family member that you think really cares about you, you hear them just kind of just flatly contradict what you just said, and you're like, it surprises you, because you're thinking, gee, they actually agreed with that in the past, you might just overlook it and think that they're honestly disagreeing now. But that's the question. Do they honestly disagree, or are they purposely trying to sabotage you subconsciously into just believing that you're erroneous? If you want to sabotage someone, to make them feel less of themselves